Do you know how to make an enemy of what previously was a friend of yours, a person who is a parent? Say something critical about their child, or do something that they perceive as potentially harmful to their child, and that friendship may turn really quickly. Well, the Lord has a similar attitude towards his church as parents do towards their children. He loves it and wants to protect it and doesn't take it lightly when people do harm to it. Welcome to Truth Talk with Ed Skipper, published every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Listen to the words of the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. Very serious words. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and God's Spirit dwells in your midst? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy that person. For God's temple is sacred, and you together are that temple. So when there is destruction in the church, damage to the church, God takes that very seriously. Mess with his church and he will mess with you. So divisions and factions, which what this chapter has been about, God does not take that lightly. So we want to be very careful not to be playing with fire when it comes to causing divisions or factions in the church. Now, Paul has said, you together are that temple. God's people, the church, is the temple of God, he is saying. It's one reason, by the way, that I don't use the phrase house of the Lord for a church building. Because yes, in the Old Testament, the tabernacle and the temple housed the presence of the Lord, but in the New Testament, we house the presence of the Lord. But nonetheless, God is making, or this scripture is making this point that God takes his church and damage to it very seriously. So let us do this. Let's examine our attitudes and examine our words to be sure that we are not being divisive and causing factions in the church. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that goes on or stay silent about everything that goes on, but we need to be careful who we talk to and what our attitude is, because God takes it very seriously when people divide his people. Hey, tell someone about Truth Talk, and until next time, may you make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit, knowing that God takes that very seriously.